Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So before starting this today's session, let me just first talk about the last upload which I have did on my channel, and that is not a tech related stuff definitely because it is that video is all about me, like who me as a Shashi, not as Shashi sir or Let's Program owner. I just wanted to share something about myself there. So that's what I tried to do in my last video, which is my vlog from Mumbai to Singapore. Okay. In that vlog, I really just shared about how difficult it is for a developer to leave his friends, family. What was the feeling behind me before I was going from my home country to another country. Like I just tried to express everything in that video, to be very honest. So that's what I just wanted to share that with you also. That's why I had created that video, and I hope you have liked it. And if yes, then please go ahead and mention something in the comment that, or you can share your experience if you have encountered anything similar, like what I have got that feeling on that day. So do comment that in the comment section. And also, I'm thinking of creating a vlog related channel. Like, I don't want to put the vlog related stuff on Let's Program channel because I want this channel to be only tech related. Let's not add vlog related or something about personal stuff here. So, I'm planning to create one more channel, and there I'll be uploading only about myself. If I have any content there, then for sure. And if I create it, then I'll do announce it. I hope you guys will support me there as well. All right. Okay, so coming back to our today's session, so we will be talking something about refresh token. Okay, so if you have missed my last video where I have talked about role-based dashboard and how can we display the name on header using the token, so please go ahead and watch it because I will be starting things from there. All right, so because we have used a JWT token to do those stuff. Okay, but in this session I will be talking something about the problem with the JWT token and how can we solve that problem by using refresh token. So this today's topic is all about how can we use refresh token in a .NET Core and an Angular project. So let's take a quick demo here. So what I have did right now is, so if you go in your Auth API, so here I have changed the expiry time of the token from 1 day to 10 seconds. Okay, which means my token will get expire in 10 seconds. And why I have did it, because if you keep your expiry of the token for 1 days, so anyone can take your token and manipulate it, and they can try to hack your website or something like that. So we will not allow them to do it. How? By just decreasing the expiry time to some seconds or to some minutes. By this we can do that. For example, but if you do that, so there is another problem comes. For example, if the expiry time is 10 seconds, so let's see how this will be a problematic. So if I go here and try to log in with the admin credentials, okay, it's admin at the rate 123. If I click on login, okay, and once the user logs in, can you see after 10 seconds, if you see, I tried to save my token by decreasing the expiry time, but it creates a problem. Can you see? After 10 seconds, the token is expired and I again need to log in. This is not good for the user, right? So how can we fix this problem? We can create a refresh token. And based on the refresh token, what we will do is we will try to get the another token after every 10 seconds. And that token will be again sent to that. So now what will happen? Our token will get expired after every 10 seconds. Okay, but we can make it up to 2-3 minutes. That's fine, because in most of the companies I have seen, the access token is always, for the expiry time for access tokens are 5 minutes, and for refresh token it is 7 days, something like that. So that we can do. So same thing we will be going to apply in our auth series project. Okay, all right. So now we will see the step number one to do it. So what we will do is, let's go in your user model. Let me stop this, and let's go in the user model, and here try to add two things. So the first thing will be your refresh token. Okay, and the second thing will be your expiry time of the refresh token. So this will be date time. You can give any name, so we can just give here as refresh token expiry time. Okay. All right. So these two has been added. So what we can do, we can create another migration. So let's go in the package manager console. And if you don't know how to open it, so you can find it somewhere here in project or in tool. Yeah, in the view, I guess. Yeah, in the view, there is other window and there will be an option for package manager console. Yeah, this one. So let's open this and let's try to add a migration. So let's give a name to the migration, added refresh token, because we need to save these to record in the user table. That's why I added this. Okay, so those has been added. Now let's do update database. So this will add these two columns in the user table. Okay, so this is done. All right. Okay, so now what we will do is we'll go in the user controller and we will try to change one thing from here. So if you remember, we have created a JWT method, create JWT. Inside that, I need to change one thing from here from the new claim type. So now the claim type I will be using as a username, not as first name and last name. Okay, so I'll go here and change it to user dot username, and I will tell you the reason in the later part of the video why I change it to username. Okay, so once this is done, so now we are ready to create our method called as create refresh token. Okay, so let's go below this method and let's create the method create refresh token. Okay, and now inside this, what we will do, this refresh token is just a random number, a random text or something like that. We need to create a random string. So for that, let's first convert it into a byte. So what we'll do, we create a where token bytes is equals to, you can use a random number generator. Yeah, this one, random number generator dot get bytes of 64, maybe not 32. Let's take 64 byte. And now what we will do is we'll create the refresh token. So where refresh token is nothing but this is just a random string, right? So we'll just say convert to base 64 string. Okay, by taking this token bytes. Okay, and now first we will check if the token is there in user. Okay, so we'll say create a method where token in user is present. So what for that, we'll use the auth context dot user model dot any. So we'll try to check. So we can use like this, where a dot refresh token is equal to your refresh token. If this guy is present, which means the token is there in the user. Okay, and we need to create a refresh token for that. Okay, so we will check this condition. If token in user is there, so what we will do, return. Okay, it will say return what, create recursion method, create refresh token. It will come again and it will create, and now what it will do, now this guy will return the refresh token like this. So now this method will return the refresh token whenever we will ask for it. Okay, all right. So now what we will do, now we need to create one DTO. So let's create a folder here, and in the models folder let's create a DTO, and I will give the name, I'll create the first DTO, which is my token DTO, token API DTO, something like that, token API DTO. This we will be sending now after success login. Okay, now this class will have two things. First, it will have a string of name access token, which is your JWT token, and second thing it will have is of type string, this will have your refresh token. So we will be sending these two things to the user if they successfully log in. String.empty, just to remove that issue. So string.empty. Okay, now so we have this token API DTO. All right. Okay, so now we need to create a very important method called as get principal from expired token. Okay, so we will creating a method, okay, which will help you to give the payload data. As you know that we have created this payload, right? So we need to use this payload again to check if the access token what user is sending, the expired token the user is sending is valid or not. And based on that, we will generate a new JWT token. So before that, we need to create a method called as get principal from expired token. So let's create that method just below it. So we'll say private, okay, and the return type will be claim principal. So this is the third one, claim principal, and the method name is get principal from expired token. Okay, so this method will take one parameter called as token, and this token we need to pass. This will be an expired token. Okay, so now what we will do first, we'll try to check all those token validation parameter what we have created in the program.cs file here. So we'll try to check the same thing here as well. Okay, so let's go here and okay, let's go here again and try to do the same thing what we have did. So we'll say token validation parameters. Okay, parameters. Okay, we'll say new token validation parameter. Why is it coming down? Let me just make it good. Okay, let me do it here. Yeah, much better. So we'll say new token validation parameter. Okay, and inside this we will be having all the parameters. Like for example, we have added validate audience. Okay, so for now it was, for us it is false for now. So the same thing what we have added, we can add it here. So validate issuer, false. Then we had validate sign in key. This is important. This has to be true because we need to check the sign in key. It should match. If it is not matching, which means this is not the valid token, this is something bad token. Issuer sign in key, again we are checking it, we can say new. So we need to copy the same, right, what we have added here. Let me check. We added this credential, right, the security key. Same thing we need to add here. So new symmetric key. Okay, we can add it here. Okay, but for the key we need to get it right. So for getting the key again, we have added something similar on the top, so we can get that from here. So where is that? It is, we hard coded it for now, so we can just hard code this, or we can just take this guy from here and we can paste it here, and now the key is available to this. Okay, so this is the issuer key. And the last thing is validate lifetime. So for now we will be putting it as false, but we can change it later as per our requirement. Okay, so this is our token validation parameter, and now let's create the handler. So I'll say where token handler is equals to your new JWT token handler. Okay, new JWT token handler. Okay, and the spelling is incorrect, so let me make it correct. Handler. All right, and now we will just create an object called a security token. So this one is my security token. Okay, and just below it we will try to create the principal now. So let's call the principal where principal is equals to your token handler dot validate token. This is the method. So how we can validate it? First thing, it requires your token which is coming from this, so we'll pass the token. And the second thing, it requires your validation parameters, so we'll pass the token validation parameters. and in the out we can get the security token here inside this. Okay, and now what we can say here is just go down and let me scroll down a little bit. Yep. And now what we can say is where JWT security token will be equals to your security token what we have got in this line. Okay, and we can just use the as keyword to just make it like that, JWT security token. So this will be like this. So the type will be becoming now JWT security token. Okay, by using the as. And now what we can do is we can say if we can check if JWT security token is equal to null or JWT security dot header, we can check the header as well, dot header dot algorithm dot we can use the equal. So we are checking if it should match the what algorithm what we have put. So we have used security algorithm dot hmax sha256. If you remember, if you want to confirm, you can confirm it from here. So we are using hmax sha256 algorithm. Okay, and the next thing is you need to just put the string comparison, that invariant culture ignorant case. So it should, so let me just put that for now so that it should ignore. So can you see they want the string comparison type, so that we need to put it as no, it's not the ordinary, we just need to put invariant culture ignore case. So it will ignore so that it should match those property exactly. Okay, or whatever the string it is, it will have. Okay, so if this is the case, if this is not equal, I put it as a not, then what we can do, we can just throw an error. We can just say return security token exception. We can say invalid token. So we can say return new security. I think I can see it. No, I cannot. So we can say security token exception. Yeah, this is the one. Security token exception, and we can say this is invalid token. Okay, easy peasy. But if that is not the case, we can return the principal. Okay, if that is not the case, we can return the principal. Okay, let's see why it is complaining. Okay, this is complaining because of, okay, this should be throw, not return, because we are throwing an exception. We do not return exception, we throw exception. So that's how we do, or else we'll return the principal. Okay, so this in this way we have created a method which will help you to get the principal value, like the payload value from the token. Okay, now our all the methods are ready. Now let's go in your login logic and try to send. So we will not send now token and message. Now we will send access token, and the second thing is refresh token. Okay, so to do that, what we will do is we'll remove these things from now here. Okay, and now we'll say new token API DTO. Okay, so this method we have created, or this class we have created, so we will be using that now. And if it is completing, then we can just import it. So just import this. Okay, and now we have two things inside that. One is access token, and the another thing is your refresh token. So now whenever user logs in successfully, he will be sending two things, access and refresh token. Okay, so now we need to create these two things. So for that, what we will do is we'll go here. Where is the incorrect? Yeah, so before this method, now we will create something called as new access token. Okay, and how we can get that? We can just say where new access token will be equals to your user dot token. We are just trying to take this value, that's all. Okay, and for refresh token, what we'll say where refresh token, or just use the same keyword, new refresh token, we can say equals to, we have a method created called as create refresh token. Okay, and this new refresh token we will be also saving in the database. So for that, what I will do is we'll say user dot refresh token equals to new ref refresh token, not access, refresh, new refresh token. Okay, and now we can, what we can do is we can just call the save changes method because we are saving the changes in the database. So what I can do is I can just say here await auth context dot save changes async, because we need to save this value, right, the refresh token value and the user token value in the database. So that's why I have did this thing. Okay, so I will be saving the changes in the database so that I can preserve my refresh token in the database for that user. Okay, and now these two I will be returning it from here. I'll say new access token, and this will be your new refresh token. Okay, let's save the changes, and now we can run the application. So as you can see, our application is running. So let's go in your Angular project. Let's click on sign out and now open the inspect element, because I want to show the network tab that how things actually works. Okay, let me remove the debug points. Yes, let's go in the network tab, and this time I will be adding, like trying to log in again, admin @123, and the password is same. Let's confirm if it is same. Yeah, it is same. Click on login and just see the network tab now. So this method has been called and this is 200 success. Okay, but it is throwing error. Let's see what is the error. It says that inspected token doesn't appear to be a JWT. Check to make sure that, okay. So we need to just check what actually happened. So let's go in the network tab and we can see, right, we have method has been changed to access token and refresh token. Okay, because it has been changed, so we need to change same thing in your auth model as well. That's why it is complaining. So let's go in your Angular project. Okay, and inside that, let's go in the login method, and inside that we have created the on submit. Yeah, can you see? So this is trying to decode the token. So now we will not have token, now we will are returning access token. Okay, so wherever you will see token, we just need to change it to access token. Okay, so we are only one place where we have used it, and that's how we are just trying to store the token and we are trying to take the token and stuff. Let's save the changes and let's see if we are getting the error again. So I have generating, yeah, it is compiled success. Let's go on the Angular project. It is throwing error because, okay, because I need to remove, clear the local storage because this is undefined. Let's go here and just refresh the page. Yes, now let's try to again log in with admin @123 and the same password. Again, let's verify. Yeah, it's same. Click on login. Yeah, I can see the login is success, and I can see the token as well in the storage. But here I can see, right, I have the payload name, that role is admin, and the name is this. The expiry time is this. So everything is there for me now. If I refresh the thing, still I can see, right, it is still getting expired. So what we can do now, I can say that our backend implementation is done, but we need to implement the same thing in the front end so that we can handle those things. Okay, so let's try to do the same thing in the Angular. So let's open your Angular project, and inside that we have already created an interceptor. Okay, and now this is all belongs to this guy. So this guy will try to handle our problem. Okay, so how can we handle that? Let's see. So here if you see, right, whenever we are getting 401 exception, whenever we are getting, not exception, I'm so sorry, whenever we are getting 401 error, so at that time I need to send a request to the backend. Okay, and the backend, what it will do, it will refresh your access token. Okay, it will remove your expired token and it will replace it with the new access token. So for that, what we need to do is we need to create another API. which is your refresh API or something like that. So let's go in the backend again, and inside this we have to create another endpoint. So I will create that in the last. Okay, so here let's create it. So first thing is, this is a post call, so we'll say http post. Okay, and we can give the route if you want, or we can directly give the route in this line as well. So no need of creating another attribute route. So let's go here and just give the name as refresh. Okay, and let's create the method. So this will be public async task of I action result. Okay, and this is your refresh. Okay, and again this will accept token API GTO. Okay, because user will be sending the old access token and along with the refresh token, and once he will, now this guy will take those guys and try to give you the new token. Okay, so now first we'll check if the token, what we are getting this one, right? So we'll check if this guy is null. So what we can do, we can just say return the bad request, return bad request, that invalid client request. Okay, if this is not null, which means user have sent the actual access token and your refresh token. So what we will do, we'll just try to take, so let's say string access token. So we are just storing them. This is a token API DTO. It is small, so it's token API DTO dot access token, and again string refresh token is equals to again token API DTO dot refresh token. Okay, so these two we'll try to check. And now first what we will do is we'll try to get the principal. Okay, we'll try to get the principal. So we'll say where principal is equals to get principal, the method what we have created, get principal from expired token, and inside that we'll pass the access token what you are getting from the front end. Okay, and now from that principal we will try to retrieve the username. So where username is equals to your principal dot identity dot name. So in this way, you have remembered, right? What I have changed something here. So now we will be passing not the full name, we will passing the username as the identity. So that's why I changed that to username. Okay, so now this guy will have your username. Okay, and we can check this as well if it is not null, or we can throw it. That's why it is giving this green line so that we can check it. So that's fine for now. So now we will receive the username inside this. Okay, and now we will call the user. So where user is equals to, we can say await auth context dot user dot first or default. So we need to find the user, right? So we'll say u dot username is equal to your username. So we are getting the username from the token, the expired token, correct? And now we will check something here. So we'll say if user is null or user dot refresh token is not equal to your refresh token, or user dot refresh token is less than equal to the current time, date time dot now, then what I can say, we have to return it's a bad token, or we can say it's an invalid token. Bad request, we can just say invalid request. Okay, or else if this is not the case, then what we can do, we can just say where new access token So we can create the new access token for whom? Again for the same user. So we can say equals to create the JWT for the user. Okay. And again, what we can do, we can create the new refresh token. It will be a new, not refresh. New refresh token will be equals to your new refresh token. Okay, so sorry, this will be coming from the top. We have to create. Oh, sorry, we have created a method, right? Sorry. Create refresh token. Yep. Okay, and we can just update that refresh token again in the database. Refresh token equals to new refresh token. Okay, and we can update this by saying await auth context dot save changes async. Okay, and now we can return this again. Say return okay with a new token API DTO again with the new access token, like access token is equals to new access token and refresh token equals to new refresh token. Okay, so in this way we are able to send it to the user as well. Let's okay, so, okay, this is incorrect because this is user dot refresh token expiry. This is incorrect, so yeah, let's change it. And now this guy will give us the new access token. This endpoint will give us the new access token. Okay, let's save the changes. So we have a new endpoint created. Now we need to handle, now what we will do is, if in the Angular whenever this is error is called, right, 401, we will try to hit this API, refresh API, and this API will give us the new access token inside this. Okay, so first of all, let's create the model for it. So we'll create the first model called as, okay, this will be a file. So token API dot model dot ts. Okay, it is will be a class. So export class token API model. So inside that we will have access token of type string and refresh token of type string. Again, we can just use those exclamation to remove this TypeScript errors. Okay, so we have token API model. All right, so for now this model is ready. All we need to create is the new service. So we'll try to create that in let's see where we have calling the APIs. This is the API service. So inside that we can create, or else we can let me check where I can create those. Mm, okay, let me create it in the auth service. All right, so below here let's create those endpoint, and the endpoint name will be renew token, renew token, and this will accept a, a token API of type token API model. Okay, and now what it will do is it will just try to call that endpoint. So we'll say return this dot http dot post type any, and inside that we just need to call what is our base URL. Let's check. So this is the base URL for us, but we can verify them by going on the .NET project. So let's run this. It is already running. Let me check it if we have the endpoint. Okay, let me rerun the application because I want to see this endpoint so that how the endpoint should look like. So let's rerun this and let's check. Yeah, so we have the new one. So this is the API slash user slash refresh. Okay, so we can reuse the same endpoint, this one base URL, and we just need to add the refresh in the last. Okay, so for that we will be using the string concatenation dollar, we say base URL, and we'll say here refresh. and we need to pass the object as token API model, token API. Okay. All right. Now what we will do is, so one thing is very important now, that as we are saving your JWT token, so in the same way we need to store the refresh token as well. Correct. So let's create those two methods. We say store refresh token. Again, we can write here the same thing. We can copy exactly same thing and we can paste it here. Okay, just change this name to refresh token, and we can say get token as well. So let's copy this and paste here as get refresh token, and just change this to this. Okay, so this method is also ready. And now let's use this method when we do the success login. So we go in the login and we'll call this method here. So we say this dot auth dot store refresh token, and we can say response dot refresh token. Okay, in the same way we need to save these two as well. So this has been saved. All right, let's save them. So now whenever I am logged successfully, I need to store these two guys, the access token and refresh token. Okay, now let's go in the token interceptor, this interceptor, and let's try to handle that problem inside that. Okay, so what we will do is, so whenever we are getting this problem, so we will create a handler. Excuse me. So we'll create the handler. Let me remove this for now. I don't need to do this anymore. So we'll say handle request. So we need to handle it here. So let's create a handler for it. So for that, I want to create a method outside this. So I'll say handle error, or I can say handle unauthorized error. Authorized, handle unauthorized error. Okay. So what we will do first, we'll take the token. So we'll say const access token is equals to this dot auth dot get token, and second thing we'll get the refresh token. We'll say const refresh token is equals to again this dot auth dot get refresh token. Okay, should we get refresh token? All right, now we have these two. So now what we can do, we can just create the model. So let's say const token object, token API model, or we can say const token API model is equals to new token API model. I'm doing a mistake, so I'll explain you what is that mistake. This should be let. Okay. Now because we are going to change it now, so we say token API model dot access token is equals to access token, and token API model dot refresh token is equals to refresh token. Okay. And just to save some more line, so what we can do is we can just cut these two guys from here and put it here directly. So no need of that. So let's cut this as well and paste it here, and we can remove these two lines. Okay, now these two is ready. Now we need to handle it. So while handling what I have told you, we will calling this API. We'll say return this dot auth dot renew token. So this guy needs an API model like this. So we can just pass the token API model. So we say token API model. I know its spelling is incorrect, but it's fine for now. Token API model. Okay, and now we will be using something called as switch map. So we'll say dot pipe. So we are about to use a RxJS operator. So we make use of pipe. So inside that we'll have a switch map. Okay, and this will be of data of type token API model. Okay, and now what we will do is inside that we'll again store this token. So we'll say this dot auth dot store refresh token by saying data dot refresh token, and again this dot auth dot store token by saying data dot access token. So we have saved both the tokens. Okay, and now what we will do is we need to set the header as well, right? Because the heading the setter is very important. So what we will do is we'll create another method. So for example, we need to do something like this: return next. Okay, we need to put two things here while handling this. So first thing is your request req. I need two parameters of http request of type any, and second parameter I need as next, which is my http handler. And now I can use this next. So I can say next dot handle. Okay, so when I say next dot handle, inside that I can send my request because I need to set the header, right? I need to set the header. So something like this we need to do. What we are doing here, right? We are trying to manipulate the header and then we are setting it. Okay, inside this we are saying next dot handle the request which we are passing. So same thing we need to do is here as well. So we can copy this, or what we can do is, okay, let's try to do the same. Is if I copy this guy, so this is what we are trying to do now. So we have this request, so req, okay, and we can change it to request dot clone, and here we can store the token, right? So we have my token. So this token we can store by the access token what we have get for now. So what we can do, we can just set here as data dot access token. Okay, and this request again we can pass it to this guy. That's all. Okay, and that's how we are able to do it. So that's how we are able to do it. This is done, right? Now we need to catch the error. So for that we can say catch error. So we can pass any error now to handle, or we can, for example, if the error is of some different type, so we can just say return throw error. This again takes this, and now we can like put everything here. So for example, what we have put it here, right? We can copy this and we can use it here now. We can say the token is expired or something like that, and we can navigate it to that line. Okay, so that's how we can do it. Let's save it. Now everything is still the same. Okay, and all I can do is I can just call this method here for handling. So now we can say this dot handle unauthorized error, and we need to pass two things: the request and the next thing is next. This one, these two we need to pass inside this. And also one thing is very important here, that we need to return this. Okay, this has to be written. All right, so now I can say this, our token interceptor is also ready. Let's save the changes and let's see the compile is success. Okay, now let's try to test this thing if this is working or not. So let's go here and let's try to use the credential admin at the rate 123 and same password at the rate 123. If I click on login, yes, I'm able to log in. And if I refresh, so after 10 seconds, I want to again call that endpoint. So let's see. Okay, so this is not the same behavior what I was expecting. So it is coming out because it is saying that it is bad request. Okay, so let's check why this is bad request 400. So we can go in the our backend code and we can check why it is, either it is this one or it is this one. Okay, so I feel that, okay, let's check why is it wrong. So this is the expiry time. Okay, this is null, this is correct. Okay, I think I have not set the expiry time. I can see. Okay, let's go on the top And what we'll do, we'll try to set the expiry time whenever we are trying to create the refresh token. Okay. So here if you see, while doing the login, while saving the changes to the database, so we would have done this thing first. So let's do this. So we'll say user dot refresh token, user dot refresh token expiry time will be equals to date time dot now. Okay, date time dot now, and we can just say add days, and we can expire the refresh token after 5 days. Okay, and let's save these changes, and now let's rerun the application. Okay, so the backend is running, and let's go ahead and try to do the same thing again. Now again, admin at the rate 123, and password is again admin at the rate 123. Now if I click on login, let's wait. Yeah, the login is success. And now what we'll do, we'll try to again refresh this page after 10 seconds. And here if you see, we have changed that the first name and last name to username. That's why it is now saying the username here, displaying the username here. If I refresh after 10 seconds, can you see? Still I'm on the same page. I'm not went on the login page. What happens here is it throws the 401 error, and now this replaces your token with the new access token. If I again refresh it, let's see. It is again refreshing and it is giving me the new token. Can you see now again no error? Let me again refresh. Again refresh. Refresh. Can you see again it was 401, but it is not sending me to the login page, and it is again changing my token. For example, let's go in the application and let's see here the magic. So here if you see, my refresh token is BLMC4. Okay, I'm not sure how I can display this thing, but maybe you can just check. If I refresh this, so you'll see this refresh token is getting changed. If I refresh after 10 seconds, see the refresh token got changed. And in the same way, he is also changing my access token as well. If I again refresh after 10 seconds, so that's what it is happening. See, again this refresh token has changed. So what is happening is the refresh token and access token are now binded with each other. So after every 10 seconds, okay, a request is being sent to the backend, and at that time it is giving me the token, the new access token, and that token I'm trying to bind on the header again. If I show you here in the network tab, if I refresh this, you see my refresh token is called. If I again refresh the page, my refresh token is not called. So after every 10 seconds, my refresh token will be called. Can you see? Again, it was unauthorized, so the refresh token was called, and this refresh token give me the new access token, and those access token I'm trying to again set it on the local storage. And in this way, I'm not been able to do this. I'm not able to go to the login page. All right. Now, if someone will try to change my refresh token, for example, if I let me change my refresh token, someone trying to edit my refresh token, and now if I try to refresh the page again, right? So it will say that, let me remove the debug point. So it will say that the token is expired, and it says please log in again, because someone tried to change my refresh token, and that's why it throws the error. And in this way, we can secure your application by using the refresh token, because now our token expiry is for only 10 seconds, and if someone takes the token from local storage as well, so he cannot do anything with that token, because after every 10 seconds I am going to expire my token. So the hacker will have very less time to use the token for his own use. So that's the beauty of using a refresh token. All right, so that's it about this video. And if you have any doubt, any question related to this session where I have talked about refresh token, you can mention them in the comment section. And also about the update of the new video, that what when I will be releasing the new one after this, that will be on Saturday, where I will be talking about forget password. If you remember that we have this guy, right? So we will try to implement the forget password implementation. Okay, so that we will be seeing in the next one after this, and probably we'll try to release that on Saturday. All right, so that's all from this today's session, and I'm hoping at least 100 likes on this video. I hope you guys will make it if you have loved this video. So please do a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel for more such content. Okay, till that time, bye bye and keep learning, guys.